Muy buenas noches a todos los que están reunidos con el misionero Miguel Múdez Marín allá en
Good
Ciudad
evening
Juárez,
to all
Chihuahua,
those who are gathered with the missionary Miguel
en
Bermudez
el lugar
Marin
donde él nos había
there in
dicho que
Ciudad
iba
Juárez, Chihuahua,
a
Mexico,
pasar hoy en la
at the
tarde,
place where he had told us
allá
that he
con
would
el
be
reverendo José
today in
Luis
the afternoon,
Salcido
there with the
y
Reverend
todos los
Jose
hermanos
Luis
allí,
Salcido and all the
el
brethren
lugar
there,
donde estuvimos
in the
viendo el
place
sábado el
where
video,
we were
en
seeing the video
donde
on Saturday,
están
where
trabajando
they are
fuertemente para
working
levantar
very hard
ese
to
auditorio
build that
para
auditorium
la gloria
for
del
the
Señor,
glory of the Lord,
para alabar a
to
Dios
praise God
y recibir de sus
and to
bendiciones.
receive his blessings.
Y
And
en todo lugar que dedicamos a Dios,
in every place that we dedicate to God,
en todo auditorio,
in every auditorium and gathering place,
eso nos pone a pensar
that makes us
en la
think
Nueva Jerusalén,
about the New Jerusalem,
en donde
where
todo el tiempo habrá luz,
there will be light at all time,
porque el Señor mismo
because the Lord himself
es el que
is the
estará
one who
presente.
will be present.
Y en el mensaje El futuro hogar
And in the message, the future home of the heavenly
de la
bridegroom
novia terrenal,
and the earthly bride,
nos dice el reverendo
the Reverend William Branham tells
página
us
57,
on page
58,
52 and 53,
nos dice, hay
he
una
says,
novia,
there is one bride,
una docena
not
de
a dozen
denominaciones,
denominations,
sino una novia que
but
es
one
escogida
bride that's the elected
para que
out of the earth that's been predestinated to
ha
this.
sido predestinada. Los que pueden
The ones who can
reconocer su lugar
recognize
en el reino,
their place
dibujo
in
de
the
la piedra y la
kingdom.
flecha hacia la piedra
And he
angular,
does a cornerstone and the arrow toward the cornerstone and the ages. That is, the one who can recognize the place
en el reino,
in
pues,
the kingdom
en el cuerpo místico de
that is in the mystical body of
Cristo, en su
believers.
reino,
Because the church is his kingdom.
en este trono
On this
tan
throne,
alto, la
so
nueva
high,
ciudad con sus
the new
fundamentos.
city with the foundations,
Jesús,
12
piedra
gates, Jesus the
angular. Ahí
headstone.
en donde dice lugar en el
There, where it says place in the kingdom, he writes underneath,
venida del Señor.
the second coming of the Lord.
Los apóstoles juzgando
The apostles judging the 12 tribes. The pyramid of Enoch cast no shadow, no time of the day. I've been in Egypt, and the pyramids is so geographically fixed, and in the dimensions of this great geometrical figure, that no matter where the sun is, there is never a shadow around the pyramid. See how it is? And there'll never be no night there. There he's talking about the new city. Him on top of the mountain floods it with his glory. His glory light will be there at all time. There'll be no night there. Jesus, the headstone. Now notice, so the redeemed shall walk in the light. Now, notice that at his first coming, he was the cornerstone. At his second coming, he is the stone cut out without hand. In other words, it is the cornerstone which shall smite the image upon its feet of iron and clay, and break the kingdom of the Gentiles to pieces, represented in that statue that King Nebuchadnezzar saw. And he says that that stone became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. And in the age of the cornerstone, where we have come up to, there will never be night, because we have come up to where God is, to where the Shekinah is. Zechariah, 4th chapter. It says, "And the angel that talked with me came again and waked me, as a man that is awakened out of his sleep. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. So he answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, What are these, my Lord? The angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, Knowest thou not what this be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then he answered and spake to me, saying, This is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with a shouting, crying, Grace, grace unto it. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house, his hands shall also finish it. And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto you. For who hath despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth. Then answered I and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, What be these 2 olive branches, which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, Knowest thou not what this be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then said he, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. Notice from where those 2 golden pipes were emptying oil out to those lamps, to that candlestick. It is from the middle, he says. Then said he, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. Now notice how from before the Lord is that these 2 anointed ones are. These 2 olive trees, one on the right hand and one on the left. And through them is that oil is being poured for each lamp to be lighted. Notice how in every age the messenger came and he was lighted, and he shone in that age. And then the time came when, let us say, the shut-off valve was closed, so that no more oil would be poured out to that age. It is like when, for example, in a lamp, there are lamps that you pour a liquid, which is lamp oil. Or there are others that are in another form, another type of fuel. And when it's running out, you see the flame diminishing until it goes out. So, let us say when that shut-off valve is closed on that age, it goes diminishing until it closes, it goes out. In other words, the messenger dies and goes away, and another light is lit in another age. But here, notice, here it is already the direct light. In other words, it is the glory of God, because he says his light of glory shall be there all the time. In other words, if through those 2 olive trees is what kept that wick lit in those ages, because he's the one who could give that light, the fuel to set that wick on fire. In other words, on that flame, then he's the one who has the fire, because it is the Shekinah. Because that part of the heavenly temple, by being manifested in the midst of his church, notice how the last age, which is the age of the cornerstone, is the age where the light will never be extinguished. The light will remain on, lit, at all time. That represents and is showing what will happen in the New Jerusalem, where there will never be a night, and the age of the cornerstone, there will never be night there. It is always at day and will be at daytime. Notice what he continues to say. And there'll never be no night there. Him on top of mountain flooded with his glory. His glory light will be there all the time. And above he draws a cornerstone and the ages. And above he writes, most holy place, the throne. And below, holy place. There'll be no night there. Jesus, the headstone. Now notice. So, the redeemed shall walk in the light. We sing now, we'll walk in the light, that beautiful light. There is something in us calling out. It's passed from death unto life. He draws a cornerstone and a beam. It's because that's waiting, see? That's what's the attribute, what we feel. And he writes, the attribute. Truly, this is, are you ready? This is the city that Abraham was looking for, see? Being a prophet, he knew that city was somewhere. The Bible said so. And he forsook the city he lived and went over. Look where he went. Exactly where it'll be. See? He was looking for a city whose builder and maker was God. See, being a prophet. Jesus gone to prepare with the divine hands a divine city. And he writes, theophanic bodies. Divine architect for a divine boughten people, for a predestinated people. He has gone to prepare. And he writes, the bride. Abraham was looking for it. And he prophesied that he was a pilgrim and a stranger, for he looked for a city whose builder and maker was God. That prophet, knowing it was somewhere, John saw it come down, but Abraham thought it must be on earth right then. Why? He met Melchizedek, the king of it, and gave him a tithe, which had no father or no mother. He had no beginning of life or no ending of life. Now notice why Abraham thought that he should have been on earth at that time. Because Melchizedek, king of Salem, appeared to him. And it is in this end time that Melchizedek, king of Salem, is in the midst of his church. And since the presence of Melchizedek back then in Abraham, he thought that that city was there back then on that occasion, In other words, that he should have been in that land, in that city. Notice, the chosen ones of God in this end time, as Abraham's seed, upon seeing Melchizedek, Elohim, with the ministries of Moses and Elijah operating in this end time, they will know that soon that new land of the eternal and glorified body will become a reality in our lives soon, because that will also be representing that new city, the New Jerusalem, which had no father or no mother. He had no beginning of life or no ending of life. Abraham met him and they took communion right on the literal spot where the city will be raised up, the holy mountain of the Lord, where the redeemed will live. Oh my. That time just don't stop. No. We're in time. After a while, we'll go to eternity. And he draws an arrow and a cornerstone and the ages. And on page 52 to 53, notice another part there where it says, all of it, all of this earth here we live in now, everyone, whether it be Christian or pagan, has temples. Did you ever think of that? Churches, all of them. But this one doesn't have any. The Bible said, and there was no temple there, but the Lord God and the Lamb is the temple of it. And there he writes, the Lion of Judah. The Lamb is the light. The Lion is the temple. The Lamb is the throne. The Lamb is the life. And above he writes, Lion. He is that temple. See, all these temples have a object they're worshiping. But in this city, he is the object. He is with his people. His spirit lights, floods the pyramid city. Like Peter and John up on top of the mountain, the light covered the top of the mountain, and a voice spoke, said, this is my beloved Son. In Revelation 21, 3 and 4, the tabernacle of God is with men. God has tabernacled in man by redeeming him by these three processes. Now, God is going to redeem the earth and tabernacle in the earth with his subjects of the earth, which he brought forth from the earth. And through sin it fell. But he had to let it go on. But now he sent Jesus to redeem that fallen earth, which we are part of. There not one hair of your head will perish. Jesus said so. He said, I'll raise it up again at the last day. See? Why? You're part of the earth. You notice, I had the little joke about my wife telling me I lost my hair. I told her I hadn't lost one of them. She said, where they at? I said, where they was before I got them. Everywhere they was a substance. Wherever they are, they're waiting for me. See? That's right. I'll go to them one day. This old body, wrinkling and falling and dwindling over in shoulders and aching in knees and hoarse in the throat. In other words, Miguel, don't worry about the aching or some ache you have in your knee or in some knee. That's a little ache. Don't worry. Soon, you will have that eternal and glorified young body where not only will the pain in your knees be taken away, but it says the gray hair will be gone, the wrinkles will cease. You will have that eternal and glorified body, as well as each one of the elect, all of you and also me. You can bury it in the sea, but the trumpet will wake me. Yes, sir. And he writes, resurrection, the trumpet. We're going to change one of these days. I'm part of this world that's redeemed. You're in the world, but nothing of the cosmos. You're in a different order, a redeemed order. Notice, the tabernacle of God will be with man. And he continues speaking there of many things, beautiful things. And we desire that soon, there with the Reverend José Luis Salcido, soon that place will be raised and finished, and that it will be a place of a great blessing where the light of God will illuminate in that place the hearts of all the chosen ones, and will continue preparing them for their transformation, and being aware that we shall never again be in darkness and blackness, for it will always be daytime in our age and in our dispensation. So, continue forward serving the Lord, and may all the brethren who congregate there, and all those who somehow want and wish to be hand on hand with the Reverend José Luis Salcido may do so that together we can raise that place for the glory and honor of the Lord. May God bless you. May God keep you. And continue having a happy afternoon or evening full of the blessings of God.
Y muchas gracias por esta oportunidad que me permiten enviarles estas palabritas
you let me send
de saludo
these words of greeting,
y así
and thus
compartir unos
share
momentitos
a few moments
alrededor de la palabra
around the word
de Dios.
of God.
Que Dios
May God
les bendiga
bless you
y les guarde
and
a todos.
keep you all.